So, how do you actually grade an AI? I mean, we've all heard those impressive stats, right? A model is 99% accurate. But what does that really tell us about how it's going to perform out in the messy real world? Well, it turns out that's the tricky part. Today, we're going to peek inside Google's solution to this problem, a system that's basically a report card for their machine learning models.
So, what's the big deal here? Why is this so hard? Well, it's because AI code just doesn't play by the same rules as the software we're all used to. Think about it. With normal code, if you type in 2 plus 2, you get 4 every single time. It's totally predictable. But with an AI, you could give it the same input today and get a slightly different answer tomorrow. Its behavior is shaped by data, a bit of randomness, the whole training process, and that makes testing it a whole different ballgame.
So, if you're a company like Google, how on earth do you manage all that unpredictability? Well, they developed this thing called the ML test score. And you can really just think of it as a super detailed quality scorecard, built from the ground up to measure just how mature and reliable their machine learning systems actually are. And this part is absolutely crucial. The ML test score isn't just checking if a model's predictions are right. No, it's way more than that. It's a whole framework that looks at everything: the data it learns from, the model's own internal logic, and the entire infrastructure that supports it. It's like a complete nose-to-tail physical for the entire AI system. This scorecard is basically broken down into 3 big sections. And we're going to start with the absolute bedrock of any AI system, and the very first thing the ML test score grades: the data.
You've heard this saying, right? Garbage in, garbage out. It's probably the oldest phrase in computer science, but for AI, it has never been more true. If the data you use to train your AI is messy or biased or just plain wrong, well, so is your AI. It's that simple. So these data tests are all about quality control, making sure the model is only learning from the good stuff.
So what does that actually look like? It's not just one check. Google is looking for things like data representativeness. Does the training data actually look like what the model will see in the real world? They validate the data structure, check for missing pieces, and they look for this really sneaky problem called training serving skew, which, don't worry, we're going to get back to in a bit.
Okay, so you've made sure your data is solid. Check. The next logical step then is to test the AI's brain, the model itself. We have to know if its reasoning is actually sound.
And here, we're going way beyond just simple accuracy. These tests are about asking deeper questions, like, is this model stable, or does it freak out and give completely different answers to very similar questions? Is it fair? Is it unbiased? Can you even build the exact same model a second time if you had to? These are the things that really matter.
Let me give you a couple of real examples. Model stability is huge. You definitely don't want a self-driving car's AI to see a stop sign, but because of a weird shadow, suddenly think it's a speed limit sign. And of course, one of the most critical checks is for bias and fairness, to make sure the model isn't accidentally creating unfair or harmful outcomes for different groups of people.
Okay, so we have good data feeding a sound model. We're done, right? Not so fast. See, a model doesn't just exist in a vacuum. The final part of this report card looks at the entire system, the whole infrastructure that actually delivers that model to you and me.
A brilliant model that can't handle a lot of users or that breaks down every other week, that's not a real product. That's just a cool science experiment. System tests are all about being ready for the real world. Can this thing actually run? Can it scale up? And can it be maintained over time without constant headaches?
This is where things like monitoring come in. You have to actively watch to see if the model's performance starts to slip as the world changes around it. It also means checking the automation for retraining and deploying new models, and of course, good old-fashioned load testing to make sure the whole thing doesn't just fall over the second it becomes popular.
So, we've walked through the 3 big categories: the data, the model, and the system. But how does this all come together? And more importantly, why should you care if a model gets a high score? Well, it all boils down to one word: trust. So every single one of those tests we talked about gets a score on this simple maturity scale. It goes from a 0, which means, oops, the test doesn't even exist, all the way up to a 4, which represents a fully automated, constantly monitored system that's always improving. It gives teams a super clear roadmap to see exactly where they're weak and what they need to do to get better. And the payoff for climbing up that scale is huge. Seriously, we're talking about models that are way more reliable, catching data issues before they blow up, and just building a much stronger, more professional engineering culture around machine learning. All of this helps reduce failures and gives the team the confidence that their AI is actually going to work the way it's supposed to.
Yeah, this really isn't about just taking off boxes on a checklist. It's about building systems that are fundamentally more robust, easier to manage, and ultimately, a whole lot more trustworthy.
Okay, let's make this super real. We'll run through a few quick what-if scenarios. Imagine a model built to spot credit card fraud. What happens if it gets a really bad score on those data tests we talked about at the beginning? The consequence is immediate, and it is painful. If those data validation tests failed, the model might not recognize the data from new customers. So what does it do? It starts blocking their legitimate transactions. That's a direct, painful hit to the business and a terrible customer experience. All right, scenario number 2. The fraud model is launched, and it's actually working pretty well at first. But it got a really low score on system monitoring. So what's the big risk?
This is the silent killer for so many machine learning systems. The world changes, right? Fraudsters are always coming up with new tricks. And if you are not watching your model's performance, it will slowly get worse and worse, becoming obsolete without anyone even noticing. At least, not until it's way too late.
Okay, last one. And this is a biggie. Remember that kind of technical term I mentioned before, training, serving, skew? What happens when a model gets a perfect score in the lab, but it's suffering from this problem out in the real world?
And this analogy just nails it. Training serving skew basically means the data the model studied on, its homework, is totally different from the live data it sees in the wild, the final exam. And, just like in school, if you study for the wrong test, you are absolutely going to fail.
So what Google has here is this really powerful internal system for building better, more reliable AI. But it kind of leaves us with one last, really fascinating question. This is a tool for developers inside a company. But what if this sort of thing became a standard? If every AI, from the one in your photo app to the one in a self-driving car, came with a public report card just like this, would you trust it more? It's definitely something to think about.